Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another 3 Looks 1 palette with the Perfect World palette from Oden's Eye, or the Perfect World collection from Oden's Eye, this time using the Flora Story palette in collaboration with Makeup.Just.For.Fun. This was a huge hit, especially I think it sold out pretty quickly when they did their first launch of this collection. It's a really beautiful purple, green, like muted color story, and so I totally understand why everyone loved it so much. And loves it so much. I think it's really, really unique and really, really beautiful, especially for spring. This palette is still available, as are all 3 of the palettes right now. So I am hoping to do 3 Looks 1 palette with the Planet Spirit palette in collaboration with Betty Jean or Batty Bean before they're unavailable. So keep your eyes out for that. But honestly, I give my thoughts on the palette at the end of the video, so just keep on watching if you're interested. And yeah, let's get into the first look. Okay, hello my friends. Welcome to the first look using the Flora Story palette from Oden's Eye and Makeup.Just.For.Fun. I'm gonna do a 2-toned green and purple eye today because I feel like this palette is honestly just calling for that look. I'm going to start with the black though, because for me and for my preferences, I want something to deepen this up. It's very light to mid-tone, so I'm just going to use a single black. This is just a Pat McGrath single black in the shade Dark Matter, but cannot emphasize this enough. Any black would do. And I'm going to pack this in my outer corner and through my crease. I'm not going to take it up super, super high, but I just want this kind of like base of depth to start my look off. And I've primed my eyes, if you're curious, with the Fenty Beauty eye primer. Okay, so that is done. Don't ask me about this eye because I don't have an answer for you. So I'm going to start with this eye, my right eye. I'm going to start with the shade Orchid, and I'm going to blend over the black and then also blend the black out with this. You guys, I don't want to hear it. It's gonna look good when I'm finished the look, okay? And now I'm going to take Sage on my green eye and do the same thing. And then just for reference, I'm just going to blend the edges out of this, or each of these eyes, with a totally clean brush. And now I'm going to take the shade Azalea for my purple eye, and I'm going to blend the edges of this out. And then I'm going to take the shade Clover and do the same thing, just blend my green eye out. Okay, so now I'm going to take some NYX glitter primer and put this all over my lid. And I'm going to take the shade Magnolia for my right purple eye. And I'm just going to put this all over my lid. And then for my green eye, I'm going to take the shade Misty, which basically appears to be the green version of Magnolia in terms of finish and depth, and vice versa. So again, just putting this all over my lid. Okay, so now that I have those down, I'm going to take Orchid, the mid-tone purple, and just run this over my crease slightly. Also kind of use this to blend out the shimmer a little bit, and then I'm going to also merge this onto my lid to merge my outer corner and the shimmer shade Magnolia. And then do the exact same thing with the shade, Sage. Might have taken a little bit too much of that, but that's okay. On this green eye here. And then take the lighter shade, so Azalea on this eye, my purple eye, and just blend over the edges of everything one more time. I really like the blend that I've been getting. Really, really nice. And then taking Clover, doing the same thing. And then I'm going to take Magnolia and Misty on my fingers and just intensify these on my lid. These shades are really beautiful. They have, both of them have like suspended like silver sparkle in them. And they're really beautiful and like piecey and sparkly. Okay, I'm quickly going to hop off camera, just do some blush and highlight, and I will be right back. Okay, just did highlight and blush. I used the MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in Double Gleam and the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Exposed. Two older products. And now for my lower lash line, I'm gonna start with the Matte Black from Pat McGrath. And just stamp this along my lower lash line just to start the depth, similar to what I did on my top lid. Okay, now that I have that done, I'm just gonna, again, really simple. Honestly, this look is really simple, but bold, which I love. Anyway, I'm gonna take Orchid, the mid-tone purple, and just blend this. Blend this out on top of the black and then blend this out below as well. And then do the same thing on my other eye with the shade Sage. And then take Azalea, the lightest purple, and blend everything out some more. And take Clover, do the same thing. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of that matte black on both eyes and just do nothing really except just deepen my very outer corners a little bit more, but just very lightly. And then finally, I'm going to take the shade Dawn. I'm gonna give it that a little spray and put this on my inner corners. And then I'm gonna take that on my brow bone as well. Okay, so this is the finished look. Now I'm just going to hop off camera and finish up the rest of my face and show you the finished look. Okay, and this is the finished look. I feel like honestly it really kind of like encapsulates the color story as a whole of this palette. I knew that I wanted to do this immediately upon looking at this palette because I feel like it's just calling for a purple and green two-toned eye. I know this is definitely not the most unique look per se. I know that Sarah from Already Shopped It did a look like this in her Instagram and YouTube. This is maybe like a little bit more of a smokier version of that, but still fun. And I'm always an advocate of doing two-toned eyes because I just think they're so fun and simple but super, super impactful. On my lips, I'm wearing Makeup Forever Endless Cacao Artist Color Pencil and ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Ashton, my go-to combo, and then the Stila Stay All Day Liquid Lipstick in the shade Bocce with the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Ice on top. Quite a combo, but here we are. Without further ado, let's just get into the second look. Okay, hello, welcome to the second look using the Flora Story palette from Oden's Eye Makeup.Just.For.Fun. Sorry if you can hear my dishwasher in the background, but I'm gonna do kind of a more graphic look today, focusing on the greens, like a lot of the greens. I'm going to start with the shade Sage. I don't know if this is going to be like as deep as I want it to be or that I have a preference for, but I might just fix that by adding a little bit of black in the outer corner. But I'm going to do more of a graphic look, if I didn't already say that, like in a big wing shape. So this is always really hard to do, but I'm just gonna, just do like basically like one big wing, empty wing shape, and I'm gonna do both eyes at the same time just to try to make them as even as possible. Okay, 45 years later, there's similar-ish shapes, but when I tell you I do not care enough to try to make them like, I don't know, I feel like they're as even as they're ever gonna be. And then I'm just gonna fill in just the very outer part of this wing with Sage. Okay, now it's shimmer time. So I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to take Lush, then Misty, then Best Buds going across my lid. First though, I'm going to take some NYX glitter primer as per usual and put this all over the empty space on my lid. These looks are really quite actually simple and relatively quick once you kind of like have dealt with the shape, but still really impactful and fun. So okay, so starting with Lush, then taking Misty, putting that in the center. taking Best Buds. Okay, so now I'm just going to go back and forth between each of these shades and just each of these shimmer shades and just blend them together. And then take Sage on a really small brush and just blend this into Lush just as best I can so there's a gradient between the matte and shimmers. And then I'm going to take Lush, Misty, and Best Buds on my fingers, and remembering which fingers I used, intensify these shades on my lid. Okay, I'm quickly going to hop off camera and do highlight and blush, and I will be right back. I'm back. Okay, I used the Milk Makeup Flex highlight in the shade Lit, if you're curious, and the Melt Monarcha blush palette, the shade Milagritos. Not sure. But anyway, that's what I used. So now just to finish up my eyes, I'm going to take Sage on the outer part. I want a bigger brush for this. Sage on the outer part of my lower lash line and just connect it with my top lid. And then I'm just going to take each shimmer that I used on my lid and then give them a little spray just with water so they stick a little bit better, and then just put them all along my lower lash line. So starting with Lush, Misty, and Best Buds. And then I'm going to take Dawn and surprise, surprise, put that on my inner corner. So definitely these iridescent shades are smooth. There's a little sparkle to them, but they're not like super sparkly per se. Okay, and this, why did I say that so weird? Okay, and this is where I'm going to leave it. I don't think I've ever done green in this shape before, so I really like it. I'm just going to finish up the rest of my face and show you the finished look. Okay, and this is the finished look. On my lips, I have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao and the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Ashton, and the Cheekbone Beauty. What is this technically called? Just a lip gloss. Harmony lip gloss in the shade Birch. This is brand new to me. I bought it in the Sephora sale. And it's nice, it's pretty. I think that this like tone goes well with my blush and stuff, but I don't know if it's my favorite lip gloss formula in the world. So I'll definitely keep you updated. Definitely, for sure. Okay. Yeah, I really like the way this look turned out. Like I was saying in, as I was doing it, these kind of like really big wings are, like wing shapes are, once you get the actual shape down, which can be quite tricky, it's really quite simple and honestly definitely takes so much less time than like a super blendy blown out look, at least for me. And kind of like allows me to dip my toe into graphic kind of like shadow and stuff. But yeah, I really love it, and I don't think I've done one like a big wing like this with green, so definitely love that as well. And I just wanted to do something that showcased like the greens in the palette. For the next look, I think I'm gonna do something combining both the greens and the purple into like one look, one eye kind of thing. So let's just get into the third and final look. Okay, hello and welcome to the third look using the Flora Story palette. I am actually going to start with a matte black today. And I'm gonna do kind of like a rounded shape again, like I did in my 3 Looks 1 palette with the Z-Talk palette. But am I in the middle? I'm not sure. I hope so. So I'm just going to stamp this. This is just a Pat McGrath single shadow in the shade Dark Matter, but Any black will work. And I'm just going to place this right on my outer corner. And I'm just going to try to keep it pretty low and in a rounded shape. And then I'll also stamp this just a little bit on my lower lash line as well. Okay, so now that I have that down, I'm going to take the shade Orchid from the Flora Story palette. And then I'm just going to basically go on top of this black and then also blend it out, again in a rounded shape. Then I'm also going to bring this through the front part, like through my crease as well. Okay, so I just popped off camera and did highlight and blush. I used the ABH Dream Glow Kit, the shade Wish, and the Blend Bunny Bare Cheeks blush palette, the shade Love Me, which is the most beautiful blush in the world, especially for purple. It's like so nice. Okay, now I'm going to take the shade Azalea and just continue to blend out the shade Orchid. And now I'm going to go back into Orchid just because Azalea is honestly quite a light shade. And I just want to like bring, I guess, the depth and the vibrancy of the purple. And to like more specifically around like the edge of my eye and like below like this part, I want to have like just more smokiness and more purple like on the outer part of my eye. And then maybe I'll go back in with a little bit more of Azalea. Blend it one more time. And I'm going to take the shade Shroom. So it's kind of like this light pinky purple shade. And I'm just going to further blend everything out with this. I'm going to be pretty like light-handed with it as best I can because it is quite a light shade and I don't want to take away too much saturation. You know what, honestly, this might be the best that I'm gonna get in terms of like saturation. Please excuse my laptop. I'm just watching Netflix. I don't know why it's deciding that it's having a hard time. If you hear a whirring sound. But I'm just going to go back in, not with any additional product, just the pencil brush that I used the matte black on, just to blend it a little bit more, kind of get the intensity where I want it to be. I might take just a touch more of this black and stamp it underneath my eyes, just on like the outer part. I might go back in and blend a little bit more, but for now I'm gonna leave it here and do some shimmers. So for my lid, I'm going to take the shade Best Buds in the center and then Dawn in the front half because I want to use that on its own, like not just on my inner corner. First I'm going to take some NYX glitter primer and put this on the empty part of my lid. So taking Best Buds. And I really like the tone of this green. Texture and finish wise, it's not anything too crazy. It's pretty much just like a regular shimmer. And then I'm going to take Dawn right in the front part. Okay, so now that I have those shades laid down, I'm just going to take Orchid and blend this over the front edge of my shadow, gently go over the edges of the shimmers, and then take a tiny touch of Azalea because I don't want to blend it too much away, do the same kind of thing, and then Shroom. Then I'm just going to go back and forth between Dawn and Best Buds. Just make sure these are melded together on the lid. Also intensify Best Buds and Dawn on my lid with my fingers. And then I'm going to take Orchid and stamp this between my outer corner and Best Buds to transition it. And then I'm going to take the tiniest touch of Magnolia, this purple shimmer, just on my finger and just lightly tap over that edge where I put the matte down, and then between Best Buds and my outer corner, just to help bridge the matte purple into the green. And you know what? For my inner corner, I'm just going to take Dawn. I was going to take something different, but I'm just going to take Dawn. I'm going to spray it so it sticks. And then just put this on my inner corners. And you know what? I'm also going to take a very small amount of the shade Misty on my pinky. And put this right on the inner part of my lower lash line. Just right here. And then I'm also going to take Dawn and put that on my brow bone. So this is the finished look. I'm just going to finish up the rest of my face and show you what it looks like all together and my thoughts on the palette. Okay, and this is the finished look. Hopefully I'm in the center. I honestly never know. It's always a gamble. But on my lips, I have the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao, the Sephora Cream Lip Stain in the shade 37, and I just put a little bit of concealer in the center of my lips as well, just to lighten it a bit. Honestly, now that I have my lashes and the rest of my face on, I like this look a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's just with the these lighter purple shades, Azalea, Shroom, aren't super saturated, so I feel like sometimes when I blend with them, or today when I was blending with them, it kind of mutes it so much that I can't have a big blend and have that big saturation unless I was basically using Orchid by itself, which for some people could be a good thing if you like shades that are really going to kind of damp down any more intense shades, you like really soft looks all the time, then maybe that is something that you really love. For me, it's not necessarily ideal, just because even if this shade is a little bit lighter, I still want to see this light purple. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want it to blend away the saturation of Orchid, if that makes any sense. And honestly, that's kind of my general thoughts on the palette as a whole. I've actually been pleasantly surprised with Sage and how it's performed because I feel like it has more saturation and like more depth than I thought it was going to initially. But I think this whole kind of all of the mattes particularly are a little bit muted and a little bit desaturated, so I can't necessarily get the intensity that I would prefer. I think that's maybe going to be color preference or like preference to a certain extent. Maybe that's what you want, and you want really like muted purples and really muted greens. And that may be perfect for you, but for me, it's not ideal. And I don't know if that is like a newer Oden's Eye thing. And you know, I feel like for example, I've been using the Hummingbird palette a lot recently. This was, I can't remember what the actual name of this collection was off the top of my head, but this was Tina's palette, the Fancy Face, her Hummingbird palette. And I have pan in this shade. I just realized that now. Wow, look at that. I've been using this a lot recently, and I don't feel like I have that issue. Like, I feel like all of these shades are really saturated, really beautiful, and blend, but without like losing a ton of saturation. And I feel like with this collection, that has not been my experience. It's just difficult to put my finger on specifically what it is, but I think it's just the saturation with the mattes isn't quite where I would prefer and where I remember them to be from like this original collection from Oden's Eye, which is the first time that I ever tried the brand. I still, don't get me wrong, I enjoy using their formulas, but it's just not my absolute favorite, which is what I've said in the past. The shimmers, I know that a lot of people actually took the most issue with the shimmers, but I really like them. I really like Misty and Magnolia. I think they're really, really pretty, have a ton of like silver sparkle in them. They're really sparkly, and so I love that about these shades. Dawn is a really nice multi-chrome. Are they like the best, most spectacular multi-chromes? No, but it's, I think, pretty fun to have them in a palette. And Lush is still really, really pretty. It's not the most sparkly, but it's a really, really nice shade. And Best Buds is a little bit underwhelming. It's kind of just a traditional like metallic shade, but I really like the tone of it. I think it's quite a unique green. Don't get me wrong, I like the color story of this a lot, and I like the looks that I created using this palette. But I am not like necessarily head over heels in love with the formula as much as like I am with the Hummingbird palette, for example. And that is not to say anything about any of the collaborators with this collection. Makeup.Just.For.Fun. I love Amanda. I really think she did Jesus Christ, almost dropped it. A beautiful job curating this color story. I think it's a beautiful color story. But yeah, those are just kind of my thoughts. And it seems like a lot of people also have kind of been feeling that way. It's not anything like super horrible by any stretch of the imagination, just not my number one preference, I guess you could say. So yeah, let me see if this is still available. This palette, thank God, is still available, so if you wanted to pick it up, you still can. If you were eyeing this color story, I know that this one, I believe, sold out right away in the first kind of like launch of this collection. But yeah, let me know what you think of this palette, of this collection, of this palette specifically. Have you purchased them? Have you not? Let me know. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I would love to see you in my next one. Bye.